I'm Shannon.
And I'm Holly, and this is a Girls Gone Curious podcast, where we talk about things that make us curious. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and relax, because your show is loading. Today's episode includes the following trigger warnings: mentioning topics of physical and mental abuse, poisoning, suicide, and murder. This podcast is not suitable for children. Please listen with care. We do apologize if we say any of the names or places wrong in today's case. We had a special episode in between this week's case topic that was an interview, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Our second true crime case regarding cults is about the Jonestown Massacre. Let's get into it.
Jonestown, Guyana is where this case ends, but the beginning is in Indiana. Jim Jones was born on May 13, 1931, to parents James and Lynetta in Crete, Indiana. Side note, right off the bat, Lynetta's maiden name is Putnam, and I was curious if she was related to the Putnam families of the Salem witch trials. I was not able to find a connection.
Interesting.
Yeah. Growing up, Jones was left home alone frequently. He would spend his days walking around town. A neighbor noticed him doing this and asked if he'd like to go to church one Sunday. Jones did, and he loved it. He fell in love with the idea of becoming a preacher. While other kids were pretending to be a firefighter, police officer, or doctor, Jones was pretending to be a preacher. As a teenager, Jones' parents would divorce, and Jones and his mom would end up moving to Richmond, Indiana. During this time, Richmond was a very segregated city. Jones would stand on corners making statements of equality and Christian inclusion. He would graduate from Richmond High School in 1948, marry Marceline Baldwin in 1948, and then move to Indianapolis in 1949. He had some busy couple years there.
Mm-hmm.
Here is where Jones would become a student minister at a local Methodist church. Jones was a fan of Marxist thinking and wanted to bring that to the church. The church had an all-white congregation, and Jones would invite black families to join the church on Sundays. Jones would then be asked to leave the church. He would go willingly, and he decided he would create his own church. His church would welcome everyone. So in 1954, he created the Community Union Church. Jones would travel to other churches in the area, and on one occasion he was at a Seventh-day Adventist church. Here he witnessed a faith healing. The crowd it drew, and with that, the money it drew. Jones would decide to begin to do faith healings at his church. People of his church were told to spread the word to gain more members. They would stand on corners with cans in hand, asking for donations for the cause. And it was time for the Jones family to begin. They would refer to themselves as the Rainbow Family because they adopted children of all races. Jones would have 9 children. Agnes was adopted in 1954. Lou, Stephanie, and Suzanne were adopted in 1959. Stephen was born in 1959. Jim Jones Jr. and Timothy were adopted in 1961. John Victor was born in 1971, but his mother was not Marceline, but another member of the church, Grace Stowen. John Kimo was born in 1975, but his mother was also not Marceline, but another member of the church, Carolyn Layton. The Community Union Church would get renamed to the People's Temple. Once renamed, the church began offering a soup kitchen and a clothing closet for those in need. Jones was thought of as a civil rights leader and received praise and positive feedback from the media. He was said to be enthusiastic, charismatic, and entertaining. Jones would claim to begin to have bad nightmares during the Cold War. They were so bad, in fact, that he claimed he had a vision that a bomb was going to be dropped on the Midwest, so they had to leave the area. In 1965, the People's Temple would move from Indiana to California. 140 people followed. At this time, it is believed that Jones mainly tried this tactic to see who believed in his messages. New members would join, word would spread, and more would join. Members of the church would take no-dos to stay awake if they were working at night and went to college during the day. So a side note, no-dos was a popular caffeine stimulant that individuals would take to stay awake. Each pill contains 200 milligrams of caffeine. Side effects listed include irritability, nervousness, and in some instances, seizures. So a lot of the newer members were college students or high schoolers that were getting word, and then they would, work during the day or go to school during the day, but they would work for the church at night, so then they would have to take something to keep them awake. And one of the members stated that she remembers not sleeping for a long time, which is
What the fuck would they even do at the church?
Honestly, I'm assuming it was when they would travel to spread the word. They would stand on the corners asking for donations.
Unless you put them through some sort of trials and
bullshit. There's lots of, The main goal of the members of the church was to perform tasks given and to just make Jones happy. The sharing of wealth was a big belief in the People's Temple. The People's Temple had the Common Temple Fund. Each member of the church had to give money to the church, to the cause. Some individuals would only have $5 left from their pay, and at church on Sunday, they would be begged for that remaining $5. They wouldn't have money to save for their future or money to live off of. They would buy literally the smallest amount of groceries and live off of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches so that the rest of their money could go to the fund, to the cause. Any member, whether new or original, that had anything valuable at the time or was given anything valuable was to sell it and give the money to the church. So if there was an inheritance that somebody got, or if they were gifted a vehicle, anything of that nature, they were told to sell it and give the money to the church. Wednesday evening services were introduced, and this is when people started noticing changes in the cause in a big way. These sessions were made so that members of the cause that were not fully committed would be punished in front of everyone. The punishments would begin as getting hit with a wooden paddle and would progress from there. People who were punished were considered enemies of the people and of the cause. No one was able to talk to anyone that was outside of the temple. Kids going to school during the day could only talk to other kids that were going to the temple.
How the fuck did that work?
Yeah.
What if he had to talk to his teacher or answer a question?
Mm-hmm. They couldn't hang out with
kids that weren't part of the church.
And so there's one instance of this kid is a member of the church. Another kid notices, who is also a member of the church, and comes up and tells this kid, hey, like, you can't be talking, like, you will get punished. So very isolating and strange. Jones is happy with everything. His plans are working out just as he wanted, but he wants more money and more power. Jones and his church moved to the big city of San Francisco, where the headquarters would be, and then opened another church in Los Angeles. Members of the church noticed that it seemed like Jones never stopped. He was always working, always making moves to make his church bigger and more money coming in. It seemed like his speeches were always on point, and he never took a break. During one of his travels to spread the word, one of his closest members finds out why Jones is always on it. A vial of speed was found in his toiletry bag. This is when Jones' drug addiction would be known. This is also the time when people would start to learn about Jones's affairs. Jones would have affairs with men and women. He made statements that he felt like his cause was being threatened by people wanting to leave. His solution? To sleep with one person and then their significant other separately, without either knowing. This way he had leverage to make them stay, because after he slept with them, he would tell them that he would tell the significant other that they had been cheated on. Yeah, some mind fuck there.
I mean, at least he's all inclusive, I guess. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
But the thing is, it would be on both sides, so it's like, both you cheated, so what?
Yeah.
And if you talk to each other, you probably were fucking divorced.
Right. Side note, this is referred to as sexual coercion and is used often in abusive relationships. Jones would become paranoid and even became more controlling and abusive towards the members of the church. Jones would create threatening events as a controlling mechanism as well. He would claim there were threats of guns being used against members from enemies outside of the temple. He even had some people shoot at him, and he claimed he had been shot and was able to heal himself. He was not actually shot, just faked it. He stated, since he was able to heal himself, that he was becoming God. Children 12 and up were required to sign blank pieces of paper. This blank piece of paper would be used as Jones would see fit. He would use this as a tool to keep the older children in line, and if they did something he didn't approve of, he would punish them. If a child refused to sign the blank paper, then they would be punished in front of all at that moment. After this was implemented, Jones really wanted to test everyone's loyalty. He stated that people should be willing to give their lives to the cause. One morning after breakfast, he came into the hall and asked everyone if they enjoyed their breakfast. Everyone said they did. He said something along the lines of, "Good, because this was your last meal and we are going to die today because the food was poisoned." Then as people were panicking, he laughed. He laughed and said he was just testing their loyalty.
What the fuck?
So fucking weird. And yet, the People's Temple continued to grow at a very fast pace. In 1975, the local politicians were also taking notice of the fast growth of the People's Temple. They would seek help with the elections through the church. Jones and the church would back the following politicians. George Moscone was running for mayor, Harvey Milk was running for councilman, and Joseph Freitas was running for district attorney. Jones would implore his people to cross voting lines to vote for the individuals Jones wanted. Jones' picks for politicians did end up winning the elections, and as a reward, so to speak, Jones gets appointed to Housing Authority.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Jones continues to push his power to the next level. He begins to give elderly people quaaludes. So this makes the individual pass out and not remember anything that has happened during the time they are unconscious. Jones and his closest members come up with stories of, "Oh, you fell down the stairs and you broke your leg, and Jones here put a cast on it to protect you, and now that you are awake, he can heal you completely." So when Jones would cut off the cast after healing the individual, they would run and walk just fine, like it was truly a miracle.
More like it was never broke in the first place.
Yeah. Although there was positive feedback from the media, investigations were beginning to take place on the People's Temple because there were some members that had left the church and were telling their stories of abuse and criminal activities that were happening. Jones finds out that the People's Temple is under investigation and he begins to panic. Jones ends up getting a jeweler's license, and then he packs up his belongings and his family and heads to Guyana. There are some members of the church that follow in the beginning. This is the beginning and the end of Jonestown. Jones would begin to create the lie of a utopia, so wonderful and peaceful that everyone would want to join. He created videos of children stating that it was so fun to be there, and several members of the church say that this was a beautiful place to spend their lives and create something more. Members of the church that were back in San Francisco would be convinced, and several hundred would fly down to help build Jonestown. Upon arrival, however, the start promise was found to be untrue. The members were forced to give up their passport and any money they had on them. They were then taken to Jonestown, and upon arrival they could tell that they had been lied to. There were buildings, but no doors. No doors separating rooms, no entry doors, no exit doors. The beds were bunk bed style. Some of the bunk beds were 3 high, and elderly had to climb up and down them. There would be accidents from people trying to climb up and down all the time. There wasn't any running water, no plumbing whatsoever, and the abundant crops that were promised were not there. In fact, it was noted that the soil was too acidic for some of the crops grown in America, so the members had to come up with other ideas for food growth. Put into words, the picture is that he promised there was lots of food, or there would be lots of food. All of the buildings were beautiful and, majestic. The views impeccable. The children were all running around having fun. And when they got there, reality was not that. Another thing that wasn't mentioned in the videos that Jones created was the heat, mosquitoes, and the diseases. Everything began to take a toll on people. There wasn't a lot of meat to go around for all of the almost 1,000 members. There wasn't any ground beef, steaks, eggs, juices, cookies, treats, things like that. Only one individual received those things and more, and it was Jones. So how would it be as like a kid, and you're like walking up and you see someone and you haven't had, let's say, an egg. You haven't had an egg since you left wherever it was you were.
Yeah. And
you walk up and you see this individual who is supposed to be
God.
Yeah, and he's the only one that's allowed these things.
Yeah. Or even just being born in that town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there was babies and toddlers, and
you weren't able to eat what this fucker was eating.
Yeah. Yeah. If the power Jones sought before wasn't enough, the power he had now wasn't enough either. He wanted families to be broken up because he felt that the sickest relationship were that of parents and their children. He switched up the children and their parents all throughout. If you were a family of 4, you might then only be a family of 3 because your children were now the children of another family, and now you were the parents to 1 child, not to 2.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Jones wanted there to be no loyalty except to him. People would begin to complain and are wanting to leave. They are tired of all the lies and the abusive treatments they are getting. Jones tells those members that if they don't like living in Jonestown, they can fucking swim back because he isn't paying for their ticket back to California. Which, they don't have their passport. They don't have any money because they were required to give all of that up.
Mm-hmm.
Some decide to try to stick it out while others escape. Jones has a PA system installed at this time so that he can give speeches multiple times a day. There is also a 2-way radio, but Jones is the only one allowed to use either.
What's the point of a 2-way radio then? Does he talk to himself?
Yeah, probably. When he does announce that he is going to be talking, everyone is to immediately stop what they are doing, be quiet, and listen. There is a recording of Jones, if you'd like to hear it, stating that you will see me, I will sneak up on you any night and any hour. This was believed to be said to try to keep the members in line. The punishments for disobeying, or for really anything Jones didn't like, would continue to get worse. People would begin turning on other people, even if they were close to them, because they were afraid. They would especially turn on anyone who stated that they didn't like something or didn't want to be there anymore. These members that made those statements were taken to the Special Care Unit. Here they would be given Thorazine around the clock. Side note, Thorazine is an antipsychotic medication often used for individuals that have been diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. This medication can cause drowsiness and blurred vision. So this medication was given to people who didn't need it as a way to silence them. Not sure if the plan was to keep them on it until they died or keep them drugged up for a significant amount of time, then bring them out of it and ask if they were going to comply with the cause. If they agreed, they would be able to leave the special care unit, and if not, they would be put back on the drugs. So there was no medical staff, and they're just giving out drugs like Skittles, basically.
Fuck.
Jones would continue to escalate and would create a 7-day siege. He would create so-called potential attacks where his kids were out in the jungle shooting guns. This was to scare the people. Jones would make statements that the enemies were coming for them and would kill them, so they needed to be protected. When his theatrics were done this week, there would be armed guards surrounding Jonestown. Several members stated that they were told it was to protect them, but it felt more like the guns were pointed at them to keep them in line. Back when the People's Temple was in San Francisco, Jones played with the idea of testing loyalty and poisoning the people of his church. Well, he continues to do that in Jonestown. They would be known as suicide drills or White Night. During these drills, Jones would claim that they should die with dignity and on their terms, not by a gunshot. He would claim this would be revolutionary suicide. He would have everyone line up and take the small cups of non-sugared Flavor Aid. There were several people that said no and said that they would not do this. They were sent to the special care unit to receive treatment. Several of the rest just thought these were tricks that Jones constantly did to get the people to listen to him. One member of the People's Temple was Yolanda Williams. She was able to get letters to the post office and sent to her family of everything that was going on. Her family and other families would get letters from their loved ones in Jonestown, and they would begin to worry. They would bombard local and state officials to find out what was going on. Congressman Leo Ryan of California heard the complaints and concerns not just from the families, but from also the media that were investigating Jones. He decided to make the trip to Jonestown to check on the welfare of the members of the People's Temple. Jones had gotten word that they were coming, and on November 17, 1978, they arrived. Congressman Ryan and crew were met with enthusiasm and excitement. People wanted to show him what they had created so far. There was a celebration at night that included quite a feast for all to enjoy. Lots of singing and dancing. Ryan states that he will tell the families and media that everyone seems to love where they are at. Also during this time, Ryan asks individuals how they like it there, and they all give the exact same answer. Like, clearly they were coached.
Mm-hmm.
But in the mix of all of this, small pieces of paper that would say something like, "Help us leave," would be placed in his hand. So November 18th, 1978. So Congressman Ryan would confront Jones and ask him what he makes of the little piece of paper. Why won't he let the people leave? Jones says, "People are free to go and free to stay." He also mentions something about people lie to get what they want, or something along those lines too. I didn't want to listen to the whole bullshit.
Yeah, BS.
Mm-hmm. Ryan states that he will take whoever wants to go back to California back with him. Only he didn't realize that there were over 30 people that wanted to go right now. He called in for another plane, and Congressman Ryan, crew, and the individuals who wanted to leave all left in trucks to head to the airstrip. When they got to the airstrip, one of Jones' most trusted associates and some of the armed guards that followed the group in opened fire, shooting at everyone. 5 people were killed. Congressman Leo Ryan, People's Temple member Patricia Parks, a photographer, Greg Robinson, who worked for the San Francisco Examiner, a cameraman, Rob Brown, and a reporter from NBC, Don Harris. Several were seriously injured. They were Jackie Spear, counsel for Ryan, members of Jonestown, Vernon Gosney and Monica Bagby, Anthony Katsaris from the Concerned Relatives, and NBC soundman Steve Sung. Others that weren't seriously injured included Tim Raderman. He worked for the San Francisco Examiner. Ron Javers worked for the San Francisco Chronicle. Beverly Oliver from Concerned Relatives. Richard Dwyer, Deputy Chief of Mission of the U.S. Embassy. So back at Jonestown wasn't any better. Jones called for an emergency meeting. Everyone had to get to the pavilion immediately. Once everyone was there, Jones stated, "If we can't live in peace, we will die in peace."
It wasn't peaceful to begin with.
Right, exactly. Some members took off to the jungle as they were all heading to the pavilion, fearing for their life. They could hear the guards still for quite some time as they were trying to escape. All adults were ordered to give children the unsugared Flavor Aid. Some thought it was still a drill, and so they did. Babies and small children were given the concoction with syringes. Within moments, they would begin to have seizures, vomit, and foam at the mouth, and then pass away. The concoction Jones made up included the fruit drink, cyanide, tranquilizers, and sedatives. Once everyone saw what was happening to their children, they started to panic, but Jones persisted. They were in fear and brainwashed, so they all took it. Over 900 people took this poisonous drink. There were members and a couple of Jones' sons at the office base in Georgetown when they got word. Jones' sons didn't believe it, but his secretary did, and so she killed her 3 children and then herself. News traveled fast of what had happened, and the pictures are heartbreaking. Several people were found hugging one another. Jones saw what had happened when people took his concoction and chickened out. Fucker ended up shooting himself, ending his life.
Fucking piece of shit.
The members that were in the jungle were able to make their way to a main road finally, after 3 days in, and were saved. So there's an expression, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," and that's where it came from.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Flavor Aid is just another, I don't even know, do they sell that anymore? I don't know, but Flavor Aid is another form of like fruit drink that comes in a pouch like Kool-Aid.
Flavor Aid is still available. They have cherry, grape, tropical punch. Sorry.
You gotta lighten it up. Yeah. You gotta lighten it up. You have to with, yeah.
What flavor did he use?
That I don't know.
Did he mix it up?
It did not say what flavor.
You can buy it at Walmart and Amazon. If you are interested. I'll stick to my regular Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
How did Flavor Aid not go out of...
Yeah, after that, just how it...
Yeah, if my, product had something to do with fucking cult, no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, thoughts and mentionings. Concerned Relatives was a group started by some of the members of the People's Temple that stayed behind in California. Others joined that were able to escape sometime I'm assuming it was in the first couple of weeks of getting to Jonestown. I don't know how they escaped because...
With everything that he
going
was
on,
doing,
yeah. But somehow they did. I don't know how they made it back to the U.S. The only thing I can think of is maybe through the embassy, but I don't know if that's all facts.
Yeah.
If that's all facts or if it was just... But others joined who were able to escape, and they were concerned with the welfare of everyone and were the ones pushing for an investigation. So Congressman Ryan is the one who listened. Another point is Jones had a stockpile of cyanide. This was possible because he got a jeweler's license and therefore was able to get large quantities of it. So that's why he got a jeweler's license, was so he could stockpile cyanide. So he always had a plan for everyone to die, is what it seemed like. Maybe not himself,
yeah,
but everybody else.
The basically when the shit hit the fan, he had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
What does cyanide do with jewelry? Is it like
I think
a
it's a
cleaner?
cleaning. Yeah, I think it's a cleaning chemical.
So cyanide in jewelry sense is used as electroplating, and metal stripping,
Oh, okay.
and cyanide bombing, which I don't know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, I'm assuming it'd be kind of like the.
So it basically gets rid of any flaws that the jewelry has
Oh, okay.
to make it shiny.
Hmm.
It works as a chemical to dissolve and remove minute layers without damaging the overall structure.
Interesting.
Makes sense, I guess.
So, and then people are forced to take this, and
What the
it
fuck?
liquefies their insides, basically, is what it sounds like.
So fucked up.
So, the office base for Jonestown was based in Georgetown. Only trusted members of the group were allowed to work at the office. When they would go to collect the mail and food, because they did have food coming in through customs, customs would ask questions, but not as in-depth as you would think. They wouldn't really go through everything. They would just say, is this for Jonestown? And you had to say yes. And if you said yes, then you went through. So if you said, no, I don't think so, other members of the church would, no, it is. You have to say yes. So they would say yes, and it would just go through. Several crates were in fact false bottom crates, and they were full of guns.
Fucking.
During the investigation, authorities found a large bank of guns, $500,000 in cash, and the stockpile of passports. It was also found that Jones had deposited millions of dollars in foreign bank accounts.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah.
So why everyone is literally living on
peanut butter and jelly, if that.
Yeah, or whatever, like very minimal fruits and vegetables, what they could grow there.
Yeah. He's
living, basically his best life with all the foods he can think of. He doesn't have to worry about any of that. And
he's got steak, he's got cookies, he's got
a fat bank account of all the money that was donated to the church. But there is speculation that Jones had been planning to kill everyone, including those that arrived with Congressman Ryan for a while, and then flee to another country because he had so much money in other bank accounts.
And then once he fled, he probably would have fucking started up again.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thing I don't get. Say that these cults and these people get all the money in the world and all the power in the world. Then what?
Yeah, and it's still not enough because he still, he wants more and more and more. And it didn't matter who died to
achieve that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me. It's never enough. So why do you think that even if you gain all the money in the world and are a dictator to the whole world, once you get there, there's nothing.
Yeah.
You can't get any more.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I agree 100%. It's so bizarre to me, and I don't know if it's because he only had, he started out with, I don't know the term for it, but he had 140 members that followed him from Indiana to California. Yeah. And then from California to Jonestown, he had, close to over 900 people.
Yeah. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Cults are always connected with religion, money, and power.
Yep. Every time.
Every time you can fucking count on it. And it's usually not just one religion. It's
Mm-hmm.
multiple religions that they
Yeah.
take together to create their own religion that they like.
Mm-hmm. Which he did as well.
Yeah.
He took instances or readings or from different aspects.
Yeah.
And the thing of it is like him being enthusiastic and entertaining, he started out trying to do something good, or it appeared he was trying to do something good. And when he saw the power that he had, he was like, well, what if I do this?
And the money that it brought in.
What if I do this? I could probably get away with this. And then he just kept going, and then
turned to this shit show.
Yeah.
This is way back in the beginning. What is Marxist? Marxist?
Oh, the Marxist theory?
Yeah, what is that?
It's basically like sharing of wealth. So like everybody is equal in that aspect. So like even if except Jones.
Yeah.
Because he has all the money, but everybody else is like equal. Yeah. In regards to wealth. Yeah.
Fucking BS. Not really. It's like a question, but I said like I wrote down, what do these leaders do with their money? And then in the bottom it said, apparently build a town.
Yeah. Build a town, buy guns, buy drugs.
Yeah. But even that, he said he had millions in another account. It's just...
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. And when they were all forced to drink the Flavor Aid, why... It pisses me off that his son didn't believe that.
Yeah. Especially because he had to have seen it. He wasn't there all the time. I mean, he wasn't at the office all the time, so he had to have been...
The only thing I can think is he was brainwashed from the beginning.
Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking, is like all these people... I'm sorry, I don't believe for 1 second that this was suicide. This was murder.
Yeah, this was murder.
The brainwashing, the fear that he instilled in these people. But also, like, they were, they saw good in him when he did certain things. So they were like, oh, okay, so like an abusive relationship with...
you can have your highs, but then you have your extreme lows.
Right. And I have no idea where I was going with that. So that, to me, yeah, I'm totally lost. I have no idea what the fuck I was going to say. But that's why I don't believe that it was suicide.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Jones killed himself, but for the members of the People's Temple, they were brainwashed into killing themselves.
And if they refused to drink anything or do anything, were they just shot?
Yeah, it does say that some members were shot and stabbed.
The fuck?
Yeah. I didn't find that until it was a couple sources in, and then it said it was more of like the discovery of what happened when they found everybody, and the children, the babies, infants, finding the money and the passports and everything, and then they saw that when they were going over each person, they found that some of them had actually been stabbed or shot. Yeah.
And then for him to say, oh, I don't want to die like that, so I'm going to shoot myself.
Yeah. I mean, clearly they were in pain. It was not, I mean, everything is shutting down. Your body is, you're going into a seizure. Like, there's...
just so fucking fucked up.
Yeah. And I also think he killed himself because he had no way to get out of there. And
probably
he knew that since the plan for killing Congressman Ryan was completed, he didn't have time to get out of there. Otherwise, he would have. I do believe he would have left.
Yeah. But there was no way that he was going to get out of there after pulling that.
Now, there is several books on this. You can just Google the books. There's so many.
Yeah.
And there is also, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if I would go, but it is now a tourist attraction.
I think I'm okay.
Yeah. And I mean that as they said, I think they called it a, like part of a like dark tourism tour type kind of thing. They're trying to preserve the history for people to learn from it. Lots of backlash, but they already had they've had several bookings. And I believe it was just started like recently, like I want to say 2022. Oh, it actually opened in this year.
What the fuck? I'm looking at pictures, and are these the actual pictures? It's a picture of like showing a building, and then there's just bodies everywhere.
Yeah, so that's the main pavilion, and that's where they would have their
meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus fucking Christ. It's so fucking fucked up. Why the fuck would you... I mean, I get the appeal a little bit about wanting to visit there, because, I mean, true crime people.
Right.
I get that, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to. That's where hundreds, maybe even thousands of people died.
Yeah. And they said that a third of the victims were children.
Gee, it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. So there's...
And these possible children weren't even with their real parents, probably.
Yeah.
They were probably with the fucking random-ass family. Fucking sick motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fucking cults. Why the fuck did we do... Why the fuck are we doing that?
Who came up with that topic? Oh.
Fuck. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we didn't have our past asshole peoples doing this, we wouldn't be as knowledgeable about this stuff.
Right.
So we could have even been fucking worse.
Yeah.
I say I don't see the appeal in even joining anything like this, but this was
1978 when the massacre happened.
Yeah, so it's like cults weren't big.
Yeah.
As known as they are today.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the cults happen in like late 19 or earlier.
Agreed.
I don't think I really came across one in at least like the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
But there could be one out there that we don't even fucking know about.
Yep, absolutely. If interested, tours started in January of this year. It is a Guyana-based travel company called Wanderlust Adventures.
I feel like that's a bad idea to open it up for tours.
Yeah. The owner of the company, Wanderlust Adventures, stated that it was opened to this because it offers a critical lesson about cult psychology, manipulation, and abuse of power, which I can totally... I get that part.
But the other part that I'm also thinking about, what if it encourages other people to start cults? Yeah. You have both sides. You can't just think about one.
Right.
Granted, I get opening it up for history and trying to learn from mistakes.
Yeah. But I don't understand. I don't know, but it's
definitely mixed feelings about that.
Yeah.
I was about to say, is there any other people that left the cult and started their own cult, but it's like they all pretty much
perished?
Yeah. Not like Shinrikyo, where there's still fucking religious groups. I'm still thinking about Shinrikyo. I'll have random moments in the day. I'll be like thinking about it, and I'm just like, why the fuck am I thinking about it?
It just...
Yeah, it just happens.
Agreed. Like, even once I saw the picture of the aftermath.
Yeah.
it's been like random thoughts here and there throughout the day, like you said.
I think at least for me, doing a case, like personally doing my research on it, I feel like I think about it more. Just because we spend hours upon hours of researching and typing and
Agreed.
Granted, I'm not saying that I don't think about each other's cases either.
I'm still reeling from Fritzl.
Anyway, I don't really know where else I was going with that. So
same. It's like, yeah.
I think that's just the big thing. Like a lot of these cases, they don't go away. They are forever going to be there.
Yeah.
But that's the point. We're supposed to at least I'm trying to remember the victims.
Right.
And I'm also trying to get the word out so we can possibly help other people and prevent situations.
Yes, absolutely.
And also missing cases as well. But we'll get in more of that at the end of the year.
Right.
But this is our last murder mystery episode for the year. And January 1st will be our first murder mystery of next year. Any more thoughts or questions?
No, I don't have any more.
I don't really have any other things than what the fuck and he's a piece of shit.
Agreed.
Our hearts go out to the victims in this case and all individuals affected. With that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram at Girls Gone Curious Podcast. Until next time.